Bossman got pissed.
You killed someone.
I'm gonna kill you.
Tonight, we'll take a look at the infamous Hollywood blockbuster that never was. Gremlins 4D, Look Who's Gremlins Now 2. All Americans will remember Gremlins 3, Look Who's Gremlins Now, as the greatest film of all time. The third and best entry in the Gremlins franchise broke box office records, such as most money ever made at the box office.
Gremlins 3, that movie made me so much money. Plus, it was the greatest movie ever.
God, it was all so long ago. I remember when Gremlins 3 came out. I was working as a newspaper critic for one of the big newspapers, and I saw the headline for Gremlins 3, Look Who's Gremlins Now, and I thought, maybe I should get out of the business of newspapers and get into the business of movie critics, if this is what movies can do.
Gremlins 3. Oh, that movie was so big, pretty much every business branded itself as a movie theater for a while. We just played a DVD of that movie in our break room, and we made $2 million in a weekend. And that was like a year after it came out.
The film was a critical and financial success by every measurement possible. It won 6 Oscars, though it was only nominated for 5. A sequel was instantly planned.
Yeah, I produced and was the sole financer for Gremlins 3, Look Who's Gremlins Now. What's it to you? Did it make me happy? No. Did it make me money? Yes, but there's more to life than money, alright? I'll tell you that much. Like credit, okay? I funded G3, but on the street, I'm still Mr. Bossman, you know? The impossibly old medical supplies company manager with an inconsistent, possibly fake, limp. It's not a fake limp, okay? I have a limp. Sorry, I have a limp. It's real.
As a way of securing funding, Wold offered Bossman the lead role in the next Gremlins film, which was set to be produced in 4D and was to be titled Gremlins 4D, Look Who's Gremlins Now 2. And that role...
Pippi Longstocking.
Pippi Longstocking was Mr. Bossman's dream role, and can you imagine him playing her in the 4-dimensional next installment of the Gremlins franchise? God, it would have been revolutionary.
Hey, oh, don't worry, Billy Peltzer. Pippi Longstocking will save you from the Gremlins. Yeah, so I was all set to play Pippi Longstocking. Jordan's working on the script. It's pretty good coming together.
And then everything went wrong.
Just 2 days before shooting was to begin, Groot, the breakout star from Guardians of the Galaxy, was cast in Mr. Bossman's dream role.
So I get this email from Jordan just a couple days before we start shooting, and all it says is, Groot's in, you're out. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is Groot? And what are they in that I'm no longer in? So I go into rehearsal the next day, and I see this big tree-looking thing in a Pippi Longstocking wig. And I'm all like, I understand what that email meant now. You know, I'm mad, but I'm glad that I understand.
When the biggest star in the galaxy says they want to be in your movie, you do whatever you can to make that happen.
Word is that Bossman got pissed. He threatened to pull funding for the whole thing, but turned out the checks had already been cashed, so he's out his dream role, and no way to get his money back.
I felt bad about that, but I assumed Mr. Bossman would still want to be a part of the movie. I assumed he'd still want to be a producer. I had no idea he would do what he did next.
It's the first morning of shooting. Groot is standing at craft services drinking some water, and Mr. Bossman comes in and screams, "I'm gonna kill you!" And then he did it. Right there. About 100 people saw it.
I hated Groot, sure, yeah. The guy can only say I'm Groot, so... And they expected him to replace me as Pippi. I have an almost full vocabulary. Irregardless, I didn't do what they said I done.
Mr. Bossman calls me up about an hour after he brutally murders the star of my movie, and he says...
And I say, hey, I heard you need a new Pippi Longstocking.
I say, Jesus Christ, you killed someone. You know you're gonna go to jail for this, right?
It turned out that Groot was technically not considered a person. And even though they had a trial and everything, they had to find Mr. Bossman innocent.
Lots of people are gonna say, oh, he's a murderer, you know, he got off on a technicality, but you know what I say? I say, no, I didn't get off on a technicality. I'm not a murderer. Groot's still alive. That part's a lie.
And I haven't really ever been the same since. I quit making movies. I do the Family Circus comic strip now in the Sunday papers. This is the most recent one I did. It has, there's the dad character, and then his son Billy. And Billy, he made a flag that says Billy, and his dad's mad at him. And he says to his dad, "You can't ground me. I'm my own sovereign nation." I make about $2 million a year from that.
I've made peace with what I've done, you know, which is nothing. Do I miss Jordan? Yes. Yeah, a lot. He was my best friend in the whole galaxy.
He and I were never friends. I don't ever want to speak to him again.
You know, I think I'm ready to forgive Jordan, because we were so close.
Again, Mr. Bossman and I were never...
Hello, Wisconsin!